Welcome to the Uncensored Self Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gillen, and this is a space where women who value achievement, success, accomplishment, and wealth, but also crave happiness, love, joy, and deep fulfillment come to remember that we get to have both. Not by doing more, but by being more of who we truly are. In this show, we explore identity, energy, alignment, and embodiment because you didn't come here to follow someone else's rules. You came to right your own. Let's dive in. For years, I thought I was building a business. I thought I was solving business problems. I thought I was trying to make more money, get more clients, fix my marketing, fix my sales, fix my strategy, grow my business. And because I believed that, I spent years trying to fix the business. But what I eventually realized is that the business was never the thing. The business wasn't the problem. The business wasn't broken. The business was the mirror. And what it was actually doing was revealing me to me. I'm Ryan Gillen. This is The Uncensored Self, and this is the final episode in the series, The Business Beliefs I Do Not Subscribe to Anymore. And over the last 7 episodes, we've dismantled almost everything we were taught to believe about business. And today, I'm going to explain to you exactly why. Because none of it was ever actually about the business. Isn't that the mindfuck of all mindfucks, right? So for most of my life, I've shared this before, I believed success would fix anything, right? More money, more achievement, more recognition, more clients, more business, right? Like I just always thought that that was the solution. If I was more successful, if I had more money, if I had more resources, if I had my shit together better, right? Like if I could just get to this place and if I could just get to this place, like it's the human condition, right? So I had this corporate career that I was like, okay, if I could just get to this particular position, and then I got to that position and that wasn't good enough. So then I became an entrepreneur, right? And in the process of becoming an entrepreneur, I was like, oh, I'll build this dream house over here, right? And then I became an entrepreneur, and then I wanted a bigger house, and then I wanted to make more money, right? All of these things. So it's important that I wasn't sitting on the sidelines criticizing success. I was successful. I was doing the things in my career. I was checking the boxes. And yet every time I would achieve a goal, I would just think like, this can't be it, right? And so after realizing something felt off, right? So going back to like 2017, the first time I had the thought, this can't be it. And then again in 2021, after the $1 million year, and I thought, this can't be it, right? And I kept thinking that the problem was the business. And so what I did what most ambitious women do. I tried to fix it. I tried to fix the strategy and the marketing and the sales and the clients and the offers and the messaging and the business models and the performance. I thought if I could just get the business right, then I could focus on me, and then I would finally feel the way that I wanted to feel. Then I would finally have the life. And this is where most people stay. This is where most people live for their entire life, chasing money, chasing achievements, chasing job titles, chasing awards, chasing neighborhoods and cars, and trying to solve an internal problem, the lack of fulfillment, the lack of happiness, the lack of connection to your life with an external solution. That is literally what our world has become. I might sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I'm going to go there for you today, right? Almost everyone I met, most of the successful women that I know are trying to solve an internal problem with an external solution. Once that thing out there changes, then I will be okay. I will be enough. I will be happy. Then I can slow down, or then I can have, right? So what the business was actually doing wasn't creating the problems, right? The world teaches us that the business is the problem, but the business was actually exposing the true problem. The business was actually exposing where I was actually disconnected in my life. My business was actually exposing all of the areas that I wasn't whole. So it was revealing my identities, right? My hard worker identity, my lack story, all of that, my beliefs about money, my fears about not being good enough, my fears about failing, my fears about just being average, right? All of my wounds, all the time in my life when I thought that I wasn't right for whatever reason, right? My patterns. All the places I didn't trust myself. That's what the business was showing me. The business wasn't causing the experience. It was reflecting it, right? The business wasn't the problem. It was the mirror. That's what I mean when I say that. All of the shit that is coming up in your business right now, every single area of your business that is not going the way that you want it to go, is not going that way because something is wrong with the business or the market or the economy or anything. It is literally reflecting what is going on inside of you. So now, if we look back through all 7 episodes leading up to this one, right? If you like really think about this, we go back to emotional capacity, right? Episode 1 was emotional capacity. Business, it's never a strategy thing. It's an emotional capacity. Can I handle this? Can I handle the emotions? Can I handle the challenges? Can I ride the waves? Right? The business wasn't actually making me overwhelmed, right? We tell ourselves it's the to-do list and it's just demanding and I've just got a lot going on, right? We tell ourselves that's what's going on. What the business was actually doing was revealing to me that I didn't have the emotional capacity to hold what I was trying to create. So instead, I tried to fix the overwhelm through systems and processes and hiring people and all of these different things. But what I didn't do first that I do now, right, is I wasn't expanding my emotional capacity. So the constant overwhelm isn't because you're not managing the business well. The constant overwhelm revealed to me that I didn't have the emotional capacity to hold what I was trying to create. Right? Episode number 2, lack. All of this idea that I have to go out and get clients and win clients and, coming from this place of behind. The business didn't create scarcity. The economy doesn't create scarcity. Industries don't create scarcity. The business exposes scarcity that already exists inside of us. The places where we feel like we are not enough. The places where we feel like we don't have enough or we're not going to be enough. Right? So the scarcity in the business was becoming because there was scarcity inside of me. I was afraid of not being enough. Right? Episode 3, people. The business didn't show me difficult people. I don't know how many times over my years in my career that I said, people are the hardest part of business. People say shit like that all the time, right? People are just the hardest part of business. No, they're really not, right? People are not difficult. I had the belief that people were difficult. So my relationship with people and how all of those went and how things went, it wasn't showing me difficult people. It wasn't showing me how fucked up the world was and that everybody was an asshole. It was telling me that I had those beliefs about people, right? When it comes to sales and marketing, the next episode, right? The business didn't require proving and persuading. Sales and marketing doesn't require proving and persuading, but it did reveal to me how much I was trying to prove my worth. If I could just prove to you, if I could just persuade you, if I could just get you to understand it my way, right? That was me trying to prove my worth through the marketing of my business because I didn't feel worthy, right? Effort, right? The business doesn't require hard work. It doesn't require hard work. But it did expose my identity as a hard worker and my massive discomfort with ease, right? The business didn't create the competition, going back to episode number 7, right? It didn't create comparison. It exposed where I believed that other people were better than me or where I believed I wasn't enough, right? I'm sorry, that was episode number 6. Episode number 7 was success requires sacrifice, right? This is why I take notes, guys. The business didn't require suffering. It didn't require suffering at all. There's plenty of people who have businesses who don't suffer. It exposed the places where I believed that suffering was necessary, that suffering was something that I had to do to get what I want. None of these were business problems. They were identity problems, energetic problems. That is why I do the work that I do. That is why I created business therapy. That is why I created this podcast. Spoiler alert, business therapy is not about business. This work that I do is not about the business. I don't fix my clients' businesses. It's about consciousness. It's about creation. It's about identity. It's about self-awareness. It's about emotional intelligence. It's about understanding why you keep creating the same experiences over and over and over again. The business simply happens to be the fastest mirror. It just happens to be the place where you choose to express yourself, right? I often say that about myself. I choose to express myself through business. It is something I enjoy doing, right? Because, and whatever that thing is for you, it amplifies everything. Right? The business is going to amplify your beliefs about people, about money, about yourself. It's going to amplify your fears. It's going to amplify every insecurity that you have. But it's also, it's going to amplify all the insecurities. But do you know what else business does? It amplifies your gifts. It amplifies your power. It shows you who you truly are. So yes, it reveals weakness, but it also reveals strengths, superpowers, right? Capabilities you didn't know existed, expansion you didn't know existed. I didn't know I could be this person 5 years ago. I had no idea I could be this person 5 years ago. The fact that I run my business the way that I do, 2021 me would be fucking floored. Right? It revealed to me what was inside of me, my ability to create corporate money in a lifestyle business, my ability to truly trust myself, my ability to truly create my reality and the desire that I had. It revealed that to me. Right? And guys, I didn't even call myself the business therapist. Like, I don't know if you know that. I feel like I've told this story here before, right? I just call myself a coach, right? In the industry, I'm a coach, right? I'm a performance coach. Some people call it mindset. I think more it's energetics, right? Some people call it peak performance. It's all different titles. I don't think it really fucking matters, right? But it was a client who came to me and said, I came to you because I wasn't happy in my business, right? Like, that's why I hired you. But I learned more about myself than I learned about business, right? And that's where the term business therapy came from. She started calling me her business therapist because she's like, I hired you because I'd had the best year of my life and I was absolutely positively miserable. And I thought you were going to help me fall in love with my business again. But I actually learned more about myself, right? And the result is a better business, right? I also want to be clear, just because I don't teach business on this podcast or inside of business therapy or in my programs, the result is still a better business because the work is understanding yourself. And when you understand yourself and when you know your gifts and when you know the creation process, you can build a better business. But trying to build a better business at the expense of yourself is a recipe for disaster 100% of the time. Because what you're trying to fix isn't actually the thing. Your business isn't broken. Your marketing isn't broken. Your sales strategy isn't broken. Your business is simply showing you where you are misaligned with yourself. I had to have the very difficult conversation with myself, right? This is also why I'm a giant fan of coaching, because trying to do this on my own is almost impossible, right? In a world where the noise is so loud about what we're supposed to do and how it's supposed to be, doing this alone is superhuman, right? But the business winds up reflecting back my standards. My standards were in the fucking toilet. I would take money from anybody because I thought money made me successful. That is what the business reflected back to me, that I had no standards when it came to money, right? It also reflected my boundaries, right? I had no boundaries when it came to clients, right? It reflected back my self-trust. For the record, I had zero, right? It reflected back my identity, right? My hard worker identity, my proving identity, right? It reflected back my fucked up relationship with money. It reflected back my fucked up relationship with success and this idea that success was somehow going to save me. The business is simply showing you where you're misaligned with yourself. It is not broken. It is not the problem to solve. I don't think you're the problem to solve either. Let's be real honest. But that is why no matter how many things you try and how many different strategies and how many different business classes and how good you get at all of the skills that you have amassed over the course of your career, the results, maybe change a little bit, but they don't change dramatically. It's not because it's the misunderstanding of the process. It's misunderstanding the information. Right. And I'm going to get a little esoteric for you in a minute because I think that's necessary, especially if you're considering joining business therapy or working with me. These types of things come up a lot. Right. But when we think about life, right, not business, but life, right, like the miracle of life, right. And this comes back to like my belief system, like the amount of propaganda it must take to convince an entire population of people that work is what you're built to do, that a career is what provides you value. When you think about the miracle of life, the miracle, and I don't just mean the miracle of like, oh, technology and things like that. I mean, the miracle of conception, like the minuscule amount of chance that you exist, right? The miracle that if you're a woman listening to this right now, that you grow other humans, like my body can grow an entire another life that walks around outside of me. And I'm supposed to fucking be trapped in a cubicle working for Joe Blow? Fuck that. Or I'm supposed to be chasing money in some capacity? Think about the fact that we have bodies that heal itself, right? If you cut yourself, will heal, right? Your skin will heal. The miracle that your heart beats. You don't have to tell it to. You don't have to ask it to. It does it on its own. The miracle that the lungs breathe without your permission. They keep you alive. The miracle that you're here, listening to this, alive, creating, experiencing. And somehow we've been convinced that this miraculous life exists primarily to produce money, right? Like when you really, that's what business therapy is about. Like somehow, somewhere along the way, the message got screwed up. And then we have to ask ourselves, at what cost? At what cost? Because the data tells us it's not going well. And what I mean by that is not that women aren't making fuck tons of money, because those numbers are skewing in the right direction. Like more and more women, are starting businesses. More and more women are, becoming breadwinners. More and more women are making millions of dollars, right? Like that's all well and good. But we also know that the cost of that is what we're also seeing in health. the rise of heart disease and cancer and all the environmental diseases that we know that stress are known causes for, and we choose the stress anyway. So you have to ask yourself, at what cost are you willing to produce? And again, I'm going to stay in the esoteric here for a couple minutes because I think it's necessary. A friend of mine recently sent me a TikTok video, right? Just a short form kind of real content. And basically, it was this gentleman talking about like, you don't teach a bird to fly. The fly is already in the bird, right? You don't teach a fish to swim. The swim is already in the fish. You don't teach people how to create. Creation is already in us. The creation is already in us. It has simply been programmed out of us. But it is still there. The ability to create is there. It has just been programmed out of us by a system. I don't even know what to say about the system, to be honest with you. But like, if you think about humans, if you think about babies, I talk about this a lot here on the show, right? When you think about a baby, when a newborn baby is born, when a baby comes into the world, what is their natural state? Abundance, expansion, joy, connection, creation. They are perfect. They don't have beliefs. They don't have money stories. They don't have this need to prove their worthiness so that you'll feed them and love them. Our natural state is to create incredible fucking things. Our natural state is to feel good. Our natural state is to have a life that we love. And when you really start to look at this, and like I said, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And I know the first time you see it and the first time you hear it, it feels crazy. I'm so fucking well aware of that, guys. I honestly, that's why I say I'm so qualified to teach this, because I thought that too. Like, that is the most fucking insane thing to think, that we're all just supposed to be able to create piles of money however we want. Like, that's an insane thought to think. I used to think that. Now I think it's an insane thought that we don't all think that, because money's fucking made up anyway. It's a made up system we all just agree on. So if I believe in the system and the system is made up, why not have millions of it? We just keep fucking making more. So in the beginning, I do understand that this feels scary and this feels terrifying and this feels against so many things that you have been taught in your life. But when you really start to pull it apart, the reason why you're still here and you're still listening, you realize that it cannot be the hard work. It can't be the perfect sales strategy and the best marketing and whatever people, competition, circumstances, because there's too many examples to prove otherwise. There are too many examples to prove otherwise. There are too many people working themselves to death and barely surviving to believe that hard work is the thing that creates success, right? There are people barely marketing their services. I have several clients where business acquisition, not a problem. They have more clients than they can handle. So it's not just good marketing that gets clients, right? There are people that have incredible teams. Every person they hire is the best hire ever and is all hands on deck for the business. So that must mean people can't be the problem. There are people with easy businesses, so it must not be hard work that's required. There are people creating extraordinary lives, so suffering can't be required. So if it isn't the circumstances, if it isn't the people, and it isn't the business, and it isn't the sales and the marketing, it must be the story. It must be the perspective. It must be the identity. But here's the real work behind business therapy, because I'm not teaching women how to become somebody they're not. That's for damn fucking sure. It's helping women decide, who do I want to be? What do I want? What story am I choosing? What identity am I creating from? Instead of unconsciously living from the program I inherited. You get to fucking choose. The creation is already inside of you, just like the swim is in the fish and the fly is in the bird. Your ability to create is already inside of you, so you get to decide, what do I want? What story am I choosing? What identity am I waking up and seeing myself as? That's what we do in business therapy, instead of continuing to unconsciously live from the programming that you inherited. Okay? I spent years, guys, trying to fix my business. And what I was actually doing was healing my relationship with myself, because the business didn't change until I did. And guys, I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in business strategy and business coaching and business tools and business ideas and people who are going to fix my business and employees and teams who are going to fix my business. And nothing fixed the fucking business until I changed, because the business was never broken. So if there is one thing that I hope you've taken from this entire series, it's this. You are not the circumstances of your life. You are not the conditions of your business. You are not the stories you've inherited. You are the creator. And the moment you start creating intentionally, anything is possible, because it was never about the business. It was always about you. That is what the Business Therapy Mastermind is about. I'm not going to teach you the next business strategy to make you millions, right? But I am going to help you figure out who the fuck you are and what you want to create and the actual creation process that creates the results without sacrificing yourself. And like I said in the beginning, I know that this information can feel overwhelming and it almost feels a little too good to be true. That was definitely mine, right? My suffering identity. I really like to suffer for things. So the fact that like I can choose, I can choose to have piles of money. I can choose to only work with dream clients. I can choose how to spend my days. Like, yeah, that blew my motherfucking mind. It really did. But I am so passionate about helping as many women who want to be helped to live the life that I live, to know what I know, to experience what I experience, not for me, but for you. Not for me, but for you. I want you to have everything you want. And I want you to do it in a way that you love. And I want you to be surrounded by people who set your soul on fire. I believe that. I live that. I have that. That is business therapy. We start on July 7th. There is an application process. It is a mastermind. It is a small group. It is intimate. It is not for everyone, but it is quite literally the most life-changing content I've ever created, the most life-changing skills I've ever learned, and I think one of the most important investments you'll ever make in your life. See you there. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Uncensored Self podcast. If this conversation cracked something open for you, trust that that's the work. And share this episode with a woman in your life who's ready to stop performing and start creating. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave a review. It helps this message reach the women who need it most. Remember, you're the creator. The rules are yours. And your uncensored self, she already knows what to do. Keep leading, keep listening, keep becoming.